Believe it or not, it's been almost 7 years since the Nintendo Switch launched. Throughout these years, we've seen new entries in almost every Nintendo franchise, except for these ones. But now the next Nintendo console is on the horizon. A whole new generation is to come. So what should we expect/want from this new console? Well, here are my ideas. Although there is something I should quickly mention. Last October, Nintendo patented a design for a DS or 3DS looking console. It features a splittable top screen and a touchscreen on the back. This patent doesn't mean that this is what the next console is going to look like, but it is something I should mention. Now onto my expectations for the next generation. What most people want from the next console, I think the next console should have 4K support. Obviously Nintendo has been behind on hardware capabilities for a while now. It only makes sense that Nintendo finally catches up with PlayStation and Xbox in terms of power. This includes faster load times, better online servers, more storage space, and of course, better graphics. But I think they should go further. How about they make the controller better? Maybe they can take inspiration from the DualSense, with adaptive triggers and better controller rumble. Can I finally have a Nintendo console with a normal controller? None of these motion controls, touchscreens, and weird button placements. I think this console should just come with a Pro Controller in the box, instead of having to buy it separately. With these additions, Nintendo won't always be considered a kid's gaming console. Next, what I would consider my most wanted from this console is easily backwards compatibility. In the past, I knew Nintendo console meant restarting game libraries. This made sense when digital games didn't exist. But ever since the 2000s, games have usually been available online. At least most of the Wii U games got ported to the Switch, but they still ended up leaving a few behind. The Switch had most of this game library available online. It only makes sense that the next console should carry over the eShop from the Switch, especially with NSO's retro games, and maybe they can keep update Switch games for 4K support. My final expectation of the next console is better menus. The Switch's menus work, but they lost a lot of the pizzazz of the Wii U and 3DS's menus. As we all know, the Switch has very simple UI. Bland visuals, lack of any personality, and of course, no music. The next console should just go back to what the Wii U and 3DS started. More stylized menus, lively music, and definitely themes. But they could definitely go further than what the Wii U and 3DS did. They could add better ways to record video clips, with multiple options for video lengths. They could let you use game screenshots as custom profile pictures. They could make a separate menu for online lobbies with friends and strangers. There are so many possibilities for additions and changes. They could do the Switch's menu to make it more unique and useful. Now for what I would want from the next Nintendo console. These next few points aren't something I expect Nintendo to do, but some things I would hope for. First off, more NSO games. Now, obviously, if Nintendo continues NSO, then they will continue to add more games to the library. But at this current rate of how often they add more, there are so many games that haven't been added to NSO yet. My only wish for NSO is that they add more games faster. Sure, there's some third-party games and Japan exclusive games that may or may not be translated, and I get that those games can be hard to bring to NSO. But it still doesn't mean Nintendo should be able to add more than 2 meaningful games to NSO per year. Also, they should definitely expand the console's feature on NSO. They only add a new console library about every 2 years. By now, they should definitely have GameCube, and maybe even Wii or DS online. However they will implement it. Now for one of the biggest issues with Nintendo consoles in general, the online support. Nintendo servers are bad, plain and simple. And as someone who has 385 hours in Splatoon 3, I can speak from experience. So the online servers need to be updated, but maybe they can add some new features to the online as well, such as online lobbies, like every other console has. They can make it so even local multiplayer only games can be played online, sort of like Parsec if you know what that is. Maybe they could add game sharing, like how Steam has. What I'm trying to say is that there are endless possibilities for what Nintendo could do for online gaming on the next console. I have an idea for what the next Nintendo console could look like. Well, I guess Nintendo does too. Okay, so instead of a hybrid console that can switch between a home and portable console, my idea uses the controller to make it portable. The main console will not be portable, but the controller will have a touchscreen, and will use streaming to wirelessly stream from the home console to the controller. Now, obviously, certain things like internet speed will affect the streaming, but for this hypothetical, reaching the Wi-Fi isn't an issue. This controller will remove the need for a heavy and bulky portable console. This controller can also be used for DS, 3DS, and Wii U Virtual Console. Overall, this would be more difficult for Nintendo, but worth it for preserving retro content, and making this console comfortable both at home and on the go, even with the best graphics. They're probably not going to do any of those things. Yeah, those are my ideas for the next Nintendo console. It's only a matter of time until Nintendo officially uses the next console, but discussing these things is fun, I guess. We'll upgrade for Nintendo's next console, but until then, farewell, and hopefully I won't get another drifting Joy-Con.